So hi and welcome back to my channel. So I'm really excited today because I'm going to be sharing with you how you can study in the UK for free. In fact, it's not even how you can study in the UK for free, but how you can study in the UK for free and also get paid while you study. So you have no tuition fees to pay, you have no visa fees, you have no accommodation fees. Basically, you get paid to study in the UK. And this is something that is so amazing considering how expensive it is to study in the UK. So you want to watch this video till the very end so that you get the entire process, the requirements, who is it for, the T's and C's, how does it work. You want to get the full package and all of the information. So watch till the end. And if you're a returning subscriber, it's always beautiful to have you. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new, my name is Melvis. I work for the NHS as an advanced nurse practitioner. I'm also a career coach, so I support nurses, student nurses, carers with career progression in the UK. So if you want those senior positions, or you're just struggling with those essays, assignments, homework, dissertation, then I'm your girl. Make sure that you check the link in the description box below to find out more about my membership program. So basically, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, hit subscribe, turn on the notification button because you want to be the first to be notified when I drop a new video. And look, I'm gonna say I also studied in the UK as an international student, so I know what it means to be able to pay those high amounts for tuition fees. My course was £10,000 per year, so I paid £30,000 to study nursing for 3 years in the UK. £30,000 is a lot of money, and if my mom had not been in a position to support me, I would never have been able to do that. So this pathway that I'm going to talk about in this video, where you can study for free and in fact get paid to study in the UK, is something that is so incredible. It's an opportunity that very few people even know about, and it's really worth pursuing. How does this work? So basically, with this pathway, if you know a little bit about the UK's history and the Commonwealth, so Commonwealth countries have a very, very close and special relationship with the UK because, technically speaking, the late Queen was the head of the Commonwealth. I know we've got a king now, so he is the head of the Commonwealth basically, which means that the UK has really close ties and really close links and a really close relationship with the Commonwealth. So for this reason, because of this close relationship that the UK has with the Commonwealth, the UK has a scholarship system that they do every year. So they accept about 800 students every single year. 800, you may think that's a lot. That is a very high number, considering that many people are not actually aware that this pathway exists, which means that if you apply, you're likely going to succeed through. And in the last few years, every year I've helped quite a few people apply, and many people actually do succeed to get this scholarship. So it's something that is really worth exploring. It's an opportunity that if you know friends who are wanting to study in the UK, relatives who want to move to the UK, it's worth telling them about this particular pathway, because it's not only going to enable them to study in the UK for free, but they'll actually get paid by the UK, to study in this country. So let's move to the requirements. So what are the requirements for this? So you've got to be resident in a Commonwealth country. So if you're resident, say in Cameroon is a Commonwealth country, you're going to be eligible. So any Commonwealth country, you will be eligible for this scholarship. So you've got to be, if you're a citizen from a Commonwealth country, but you're a resident in a country that isn't Commonwealth, you will not be eligible, which means that, for example, if I'm from Nigeria, which is a Commonwealth country, and I move to France, which is not a Commonwealth country, then obviously I cannot apply for the scholarship. You've got to be permanently resident in a Commonwealth country. That is the main requirement for this. So it's about where you are living. So if you're living in Africa, for example, there are many African countries that are part of the Commonwealth, many Asian countries that are part of the Commonwealth, and also countries obviously in America also are part of the Commonwealth. So you need to make sure that you're resident in that country, because once you move and you're living in a different country, you will no longer be eligible. That's one of the conditions. You have to be permanently resident in a Commonwealth country. have a degree. So you need to have a bachelor's degree. It doesn't matter whether it's in science, arts, whatever it is. It just has to be in anything. And you need to have at least a 2-1. So in the UK classification system, you've got a first, you've got a 2-1, and you've got a 2-2. Some countries call it the second class upper division. So if you have an undergraduate degree that is a 2-1 or a second class upper, then you're also going to have a really high chance of securing this scholarship. Obviously, if you have a first class degree, that is even more important, because it shows that you're very academic, you're interested, you're keen, and the UK is going to be investing that money in a very, very good candidate, because obviously you don't want to invest so much money on a candidate that is not going to succeed. Again, the third condition is that you're unable to afford the fees and you want to study in the UK. So the third condition is that you want to study in the UK, but you're not able to afford the tuition fees. So with all other UK visas, you always have to show that you can afford to move to the UK, you can afford to sponsor yourself, you can afford to look after yourself when you get to the UK. But for this particular visa, you need to be able to show that you can't afford it. You want to study in the UK, but you're not able to afford the high tuition fees that the UK, commands. So obviously this is really easy, because if you're from a household, maybe your parents are not working, or they're working but they're earning very little, or your parents are farmers, or maybe they're of late, there are all different things that you can consider as evidence to show that you're unable to pay tuition fees, even though you're interested in studying in the UK. Another condition also for this scholarship, apart from the ones that we've already listed, you need to apply on time. Of course you do. You need to apply on time, because this particular Commonwealth scholarship, not all universities offer it. So you need to be able to choose the right universities that offer it and apply for it on time. And look, applications are currently open. Applications are currently ongoing as we speak. So if you're interested, this is the time to find out all information about this particular pathway so that you can apply. Applications normally end just before Christmas time, so you still got some time to apply. So make sure that you're applying. Make sure that, and the best thing about it actually is that you don't have to apply to only one university. You can apply to different universities that are obviously part of this, that offer this pathway. There are hundreds of UK universities that are part of it, so you will definitely find one that you're interested in, or that has the course that you're trying to study. So it's really worth checking this pathway out, making sure that you're getting your supporting documents for the requirements. So obviously, in terms of requirements, if you've got experience, let's say if you're wanting to apply for a course, you need to be able to demonstrate that course, once you come and study in the UK, you're going to be of value and relevance to your home country. Which means that if you want to study something like cybersecurity, it's something that is really, really important now. You need to be able to come to the UK, study, get all that knowledge, and then go back home to be able to implement those strategies that you've learned. So that's the whole point of this. It's not a way of getting people from the Commonwealth to come and necessarily live in the UK, but it's more about a pathway supporting students from Commonwealth countries that want to study in the UK but are not able to afford it because of the high tuition fees. So you want to make sure that if you're choosing a course to study, it needs to be a course that is going to add a lot of value back home where you're coming from, because you're going to be expected to write that in the application form. Again, like I say, I've helped so many people in the past few years to apply for this particular scholarship, and so you've got to be really, really strategic. You've got to really choose your course very, very wisely. That's why I gave an example of cybersecurity. Another tip that I'm going to give you is health. Health is something that is so vital. Everybody deserves to have good health. Everybody deserves to have access to good quality healthcare. Everybody deserves to have access to healthcare professionals who are well trained, who are learned, who know what they're doing, who are up to date with research, with evidence. So again, if you're choosing something that is healthcare related, you're going to have really, really high chances of succeeding, because in Commonwealth countries, many of those Commonwealth countries are not really wealthy. They are really, really poor third world countries, which means that if you're doing something that is going to improve the health of the people, you're far more likely to succeed than if you're doing something like fashion, for example. Again, I'm not saying that, no bias here. I'm not saying if you want something about fashion, you can't apply. But what I'm saying is, if you're doing something that is health related, technology related, you have higher chances of succeeding than somebody who is doing other things. So healthcare, well-being, technology, very, very, very important. Even like farming, one of the people that I assisted to apply, she was applying, about farming, going back in Africa to find sustainable ways of actually growing crops more organic. Again, there's a lot about global warming and how the climate is changing, the ozone layer. So if you're applying, you need courses that are going to help the environment, to be free from pollution or reduce pollution. Obviously, it may not be free completely, but at least if you're doing those things that the world needs and the world considers important right now, that is where you need to be thinking. Because when people are assessing you whether you should have the scholarship or not, this is so important. You need to choose something, either maybe IT related, you have higher chances, health related, higher chances, climate, global warming, all those things, you have higher chances as well, just because it has not only the local impact in your own country, but it's going to have a global impact. So the bigger the impact that the course you're studying can have, the more likely you are to succeed and get chosen. And I can tell you that the prize is so big. Again, if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure that you hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification button, because there's more content about things like this, just ways that you can study in the UK in a more convenient way, progressing your career in the UK, just live the best life that you can in the UK without always struggling, without always living hand to mouth, relying on food banks. Because this channel is all about bringing you the best of how you can improve yourself and just become the best version of yourself. So again, if you wanted a course in anything, if you can try and get relevant experience, that also makes a huge difference, because one of the requirements that you need to have 2 references. So let's say that you're a nurse, for example, and you're working in a health center in Lagos. If you want to apply for this scholarship, you can also do some voluntary work. Yes, you're already working in a health center, which is relevant experience, but you can go to the communities that are, away from, if they're far away from the health center, for example, you can support those people, even just to tell them about how to manage diabetes, tell them about how to manage hypertension, tell them about how to eat healthy, tell them about their health, because when you're teaching people, it doesn't always have to be that it's about something complex, because people in rural areas are really struggling to access healthcare facilities and healthcare professionals. So if you can take a day, even if it's once a month, to just go to a rural area, put people together, give them some training, some education, if you can, you can print leaflets. If you can't print leaflets, you can even just handwrite the information, print it out and share it to the people. You can then include that in your application, because that is going to be so good. You don't need to have so many resources to be able to do this, because when you have the goodwill, you always find a way. Like me, if I was in that position, I would write it down on a piece of paper and actually take and give those people. Some of, you could be that you have people who can't read. It's okay. There's going to be somebody that can read. Explain the information to them, give them the leaflets, and then you can include that in your application form when you're applying. So apart from your paid experience, you will also have that voluntary side of things. And even if you don't have paid employment, just do voluntary work. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be in a cyber cafe, it could be just talking to people about the internet, about global warming. There's quite a lot you can do, because you stand to gain a lot from this scholarship and studying in the UK for free. That is like, it's huge. It's worth the sacrifices that you will be making. So you don't want to miss this opportunity. You want to make sure that, you make the most of it and apply, be the best candidate. Again, obviously they go on merit. So make sure that you're taking notes from this video, write all the requirements down, and then begin to apply, because the application is currently open. And like I said, it usually closes around December time. I've been so busy, I haven't checked when the date is closing, but generally it's always around December time, obviously, to start studying next year, September. So just make sure that you check the information for more. Right, so we've talked about the requirements for this Commonwealth scholarship, but what do you actually get if you're successful? So if you're successful, it is really, really amazing, because you're going to get free tuition fees, for the whole of your course, for the whole 1 year. So if you're doing a master's in public health, for example, I've actually supported 3 people to apply for the master's in public health course. That's a really popular one, and 2 of them were successful. successful. Other people did other courses, but this is a really popular one where you find many people, because again, like I said, it's health related. So you need health, technology, and then the environment. So global warming, farming as well is a big one for, say, African countries, if you want to improve, because that also has that direct impact on the environment, and that global warming and the overall global effect and the positive impact that it has on oxygen levels, and you know what I mean, the vibes. So you get your tuition fees paid, you get your visa fees paid for you, you get your flight tickets to and from the UK paid. Once you're in the UK, if you're living outside of London, you get around £1,200 per month paid to you every single month. If you're living in London, because obviously London is a bit more expensive, you get paid more. So to get the highest pay from this, you have to be living in London, but obviously your expenses will be more as well. So it really depends on the university that offers you a place, because the basic fact is that if you're studying at a university that offers, obviously it needs to offer the program. Like I've said, you need to check the unis because sometimes it changes. So make sure that the university is included. Check the Commonwealth website. You'll find all this information and more information on there. Leave any comments, obviously, in the comment section if you've got any questions or any queries that you're not sure of and you want to ask me. I'm more than happy to help answer those questions. Just leave them below. This is a scholarship that is legit. Like I said, I've supported people to come to the UK through this pathway where they're not paying any fees. They get paid every month. You also get paid like a studying allowance. So if you're doing your dissertation, for example, they can pay you extra. You also get paid like a clothing allowance, so money to buy your clothes, to keep warm, to get blankets, because the UK is a cold country. So the government obviously recognizes that if you're coming from a Commonwealth country, many of these Commonwealth countries are really, really hot places, tropical areas. So you need that extra thick clothing. So you're going to get money for all of that given to you for free once you're successful. Again, like I was saying, you can apply to different universities, doesn't matter, but you can only get a scholarship once for the university that you eventually accept. Let's say you apply for like a master's in public health in 3 universities and you get all 3, you then have to choose one. So once you choose that one, you will get funded to study at that university. So you can only do it once, and obviously it's for 1 year. It's something that is really worth it. It's an excellent opportunity. If you want to study in the UK and you haven't got the means, you haven't got the resources, you haven't got the the support, then it's worth considering, because like I was saying, I would never have been able to study in the UK if I was funding for it myself, because my mom, I was quite fortunate in that my mom was able to support me, but otherwise I would never have been able to do that, because the bank statements, it's quite a lot of money. So this scholarship is just there to support you so that at least you can study in the UK. The UK can support its Commonwealth citizens to be able to thrive, to be able to benefit from the advanced and sophisticated systems in the UK, and then go back to the country to be able to improve the situation back there. So this takes me to a very, very important point. So are there any T's and C's, any terms and conditions? Yes, of course there are, because nobody's ever going to give you money for tuition fees, pay your flight to the UK, give you money for accommodation, money to feed yourself, and all of that without any conditions. So the main condition for this particular scholarship is that you need to return home to improve the condition in your country, because you're not coming to the UK as a way of remaining to live and work in the UK. If you use this pathway to come to the UK, you're coming so that you can learn, you're coming so you can gain that knowledge, you can gain that expertise to then return back home to wherever you're coming from, obviously whichever Commonwealth country you come from, to be able to improve the lives, of those people who are back there, and just improve things within that country. So you need to be aware of this. So if you come to the UK and study, the best thing is to then return back home. And even if you want to come to the UK at a later date, you have to return home, because those are the terms and conditions for the scholarship. It's not for you to come and remain in the UK, which means that if you come through this pathway and get to the UK, there are those visas where normal students would be eligible to apply for. You will not be able to apply because you've come through this pathway and you have literally given your word at the beginning of the course to say, look, I want to improve my home, I want to improve my country, I think I've got a skill here, give me the opportunity and I'll improve my country. That's what you're saying. So you need to go back home. That is how the scholarship works. That's the one of the terms and conditions. But overall, it's such a huge opportunity. It's so amazing because you have access to the facilities that this country brings, with the privilege actually of being paid, and you don't need to pay anything. So I would definitely 100% go for this opportunity. Tell your friends, share this video with other people that you know that can benefit from this. If they have any questions, just leave them in the comment section. I'm going to join you in the comment section to answer all those questions to help you, because I've got first-hand experience again supporting students from Africa to be able to come to the UK through this pathway and study without paying any tuition fees. But you need to know the way to present your application so that it gets accepted, because they're looking for 800 people every year to sponsor through this pathway. So if you're applying right now, you're applying against September 2023, because obviously you have to apply before December against the next school year, because you need time to prepare. So if you're moving to the UK, it's not something that you just like, oh yeah, a quick fix. No. So you can make your passport. Those are some of the things that you can anticipate. You can make your international passport, have it ready, so that when that opportunity comes knocking, you're ready to go. But obviously you've got time. Just make sure that you're checking for more content about things like this. I'm going to update you once I've checked again more information as well about when the application actually closes this year. I'll do a video about that just to keep you informed and updated, which is why you need to hit subscribe, turn on the notification button, so that I can be able to deliver this content to you. Like the video, leave your comments, and I'll see you in the comment section.